Alright, so Roadmaster driving school. I have completed week 4. Week 4 was everything I needed it not to be. The instructors are still good, but it's the setup of how they're doing the program. They have about an 80% fail first time testing rate. And I see why. It's because when you get in your 4th week, number one, they don't tell you you're not going to be on the asphalt that they usually have, that they're under construction. They don't charge you less for the inconvenience either. You don't have the lines of the yellow lines to utilize to help you learn any of your maneuvers. A maneuver that was really easy for me, forward offset, never even struggled with it, is now an issue for me because I always use that marker to be able to determine how to turn. So I have to figure out in my brain how to do that without that marker. It's a disadvantage because there's also dips and potholes in the gravel that they have us on, but they still have us test on asphalt. So I feel like this: why don't you put gravel where we do our test at if it doesn't make a difference? Because it does make a difference. I'm just really disappointed in the company for, deceiving us. And you don't get to know this until you've already been there long enough that you can't go back on your loan. Like your first week you're in class, your second week you're doing pre-trip, your third week you finally get on the gravel. And that's when you find out, oh, okay. And then you try to, you're new to it, so you're like, well, maybe it doesn't make a difference. And then you get to a point you're like, it does make a difference, but you're already almost a month in at that point. Gotcha. I actually wrote to the company on their complaint, on their website. They have a complaint form, and I let them know that, like, on my last week when I'm doing this maneuver that I need to focus on, I have to do my drive time, which is 4.5 hours of the 8.5 hour day. And when we get back, we have to go behind people that are doing something called refreshers. Refreshers are people who have failed their tests and they're coming back to get refreshed. And we also have to be behind the people who didn't go for their drive time. What this means is that you may not get to drive at all that day. It's not the instructor's fault. It's just where you are in line. I was not able to practice for 3 out of the 5 days out of a 45-hour week. I was only driving for 2 hours a day. That is 4 of the days of the 5 days. So, and the other 2 days, I think I drove twice on one day, or 1.5 times, and then the other day I drove 1 time. So imagine not having enough time to do your maneuver, but being told you got to learn 2 maneuvers in this week, but you're going to be gone for half of the time, and when you come back there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to practice this maneuver. But next week you got to take a test for this maneuver. Make it make sense, Roadmaster. So it's like, what's more important to you? Just the money and getting in new students? Because you can't possibly think that you're giving students quality when you have about an 80% fail on your first try rate. And this is not an exaggeration. I can literally say I don't even know one person that has went to take their test the first time and passed. And the thing about being in Mississippi and being in the South itself, Louisiana, Mississippi, we have trauma of being mistreated. So we actually take trauma a certain type of way. So instead of saying, even though everybody's saying, oh, I didn't get enough time to practice, they're saying, well, maybe it's probably my fault. Oh, it's probably me. How is it you when you weren't even given 10 hours out of that whole 45-hour week to practice that new maneuver? How is it you? That's a trauma response to help you feel okay with the mistreatment. The truth is that if you're not getting a decent amount of time for $10,000, you're not getting a decent amount of time to practice, that is wrong. Decent is 10 hours. 2 hours out of the 8.5 hours a day. That is decent. That's decent for $10,000. Well, their program really costs what, 7,000 or 7,500, something like that. 7,500. Why don't they have us do the driving the week prior when we're doing road skills that are not going to be on the state test, versus bombarding us in that last week with all that driving, and you have to be out for 4.5 hours. We don't usually leave until 8. School starts at 7:30. So you're going to be away for all that time. And then you come back after lunch, 1 o'clock, and then you're in line behind refreshers and the people that were already there. So you might not even get to practice at all. Why do they think that this is okay? That so many people in this Jackson, Mississippi location are failing on their first try. One thing I'm noticing about in Mississippi, they don't keep to their contracts. These people be doing stuff however they want to, because in the South, it's known that a lot of people have like these traumas of standing up for what's right. So they do things that are wrong and get away with it on a regular basis. How do you not have an asphalt for us to do our maneuvers on? We have no yellow lines. We cannot state test on this, but we can only state test on asphalt with yellow lines, but we're not practicing on asphalt with yellow lines. Why is this possible? That is deceptive tactics. But people will say they don't want a confrontation, so they're not going to say anything. We'll just talk amongst each other, and they don't want it to go any further than that because they're scared of retaliation. So a lot of people in positions of what seems like power, they know that people don't want to confront them because they know that they will feel like, what's going to happen next if I do? Oh my God, anything can happen. I might not be able to make it at all. That's what happens when you stand up for what's right here in the South. You might not be able to make it at all, because even if they're black, they grew up like that, where you can't speak truth. Keep it to yourself. Don't you do too much. It's confrontational, regardless of it being a business or not. It's not treated like customer business. It's treated like, I'm in power, you better listen. So I see that pattern in the South, and it's really, really sad that quality is not priority. How about if you only have 2 trucks, you only take in 10 students versus taking in 20-something students? The federal, whatever, is not regulating this enough, and it's being taken advantage of. If you know that your building, your asphalt is under construction, why are you taking in the same amount of students that you would take in if everything was squared away? If you know you only have 2 trucks available to be able to teach students in, why are you taking in so many students at a time? Why? Because you can, and that's all that matters. It's not okay. Where's the integrity? Where are the principles? Yeah, so my 4 week, I did not get to practice my forward offset, something that I didn't even have a problem with before, but now I'm having an issue with because I don't have the lines as the indicators, and it's throwing me off. So I don't know what's going to happen in my week 5. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll find out, and I'll let you know.